forbid, God forbid. We the baddest in the land, God forbid, God forbid. Shit is getting out of hand, God forbid, God forbid. Now I'm walking like a demon. We taking everything we can.
Well, like I was saying before when we were having a little chat, you know, like my cousin showed me NWA and things like that.
You sound super West Coast. I was going through a bunch of your joints last night.
He wants to sound New York. You're killing him.
Yeah,
man.
I know. That's what I'm like. I'm not like. So it's like
You sound
I'm a backpack rapper, bro. You know,
Yeah.
but no. Look, compliments is compliments, bro.
I mean,
you
it's
know?
just a beat,
because like I can't deny that like I was a lover of Ice Cube, man. You know,
Yeah.
Ice Cube was like spitting some stuff that was very different to other people. He had a real political edge to his message, and
Yeah, the
for
earlier
a
stuff.
young indigenous fella growing up hearing those messages, being in the situation we was, being young people,
Same
or
type
you
of
know,
shit.
coming into this world, you know, and learning that like you know we're not the exact like the top of like loved people out here, you know. So to have a little bit of comfort in the music as a young person and
Something to relate to.
yeah, bro. It was almost like reiterating some of the messages like I was hearing at home from my nan. You know, when my nan would say, my nan taught me a saying like, you know, you gotta love yourself before you love anyone. You know,
Yeah, that's
you're
good.
number one.
That's
you
good
know?
advice,
If
yeah.
number one ain't good, like number two ain't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like,
Can't love anyone if you don't love yourself.
exactly, bro.
Facts.
You know, and like my nan really drummed that into my head, and I feel like listening to Ice Cube and things like that really reiterated those messages.
Yeah.
You know, because he was a proud,
Yeah.
you know, he's a proud bloke, man. You
Yeah,
know, and he had like a strong message. Not a lot of people really wanted to hear the
And he was the
message.
first to bring it in that kind of
Hell yeah.
aggressive way.
Hell yeah.
He
you
does
know?
watch the show, so shout out Ice Cube.
Word up, Ice Cube,
Yeah,
man.
sponsor.
If you ever want to do a feature, cuz I'm, you know, I'm
He's
just,
the
I just that
sponsor.
Grange.
Yeah.
But
He because even though because when he went solo and broke away from NWA, which he wrote almost all of it anyway,
hell yeah.
he came with a completely different, a whole different style, and like Lethal Injection and all of that era was
Predator.
just crazy. Yeah, Predator, like,
America's Most Wanted.
and he was sort of the first to do that, eh? And then it sort of,
Hell yeah,
I feel like
bro.
it drove, and like Paris and that as well,
Paris was dope, man.
Yeah.
You know,
drove a movement.
Devil
as-
Made Me Do It, bro.
Yeah,
You know, like dope albums. You
Fuck
know,
yeah.
and I was like influenced by that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
but like for real, like I really want to tell the story, like how like I like obviously like I heard like rap music, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what that music was.
Yeah.
I just heard some fellas swearing, and and I heard Kevin Bloody Wilson and shit as a young kid. You know,
Santa Claus, you can.
Yeah, all that
Where's
shit.
me fucking bike?
and we like laughing and stuff to that music. But like I'm listening to NWA and they got the swearing, but it's not making me want to laugh or nothing, you know? It's
Nah,
like super
serious.
serious music.
Yeah.
So like I really I didn't have any name for it back then.
Yeah.
But
It's
then
making you feel something.
yeah,
You can relate to it.
It's something that I definitely played a part because I remember that moment. You know,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
sitting down with my older cousins, and then like you know later on I heard like Run DMC and Aerosmith with the Walk This Way.
Yeah.
Like that definitely made me like notice the music. You know, I still didn't have a name to it or nothing like that. But it just made me like really recognize the music and be like, damn, I actually like this stuff.
Yeah.
man. And then like
And then they had like, they had a bit of all kinds of sounds, Run DMC.
bro. And then like, I'm like, I've moved to a new neighborhood and there was a local cat in my neighborhood, man. He would ride skateboards and that. We'll just call him the skateboard dude because
Skateboard
like
dude.
we no longer friends. So he was
No
the-
props.
Yeah, no props whatsoever.
Yeah.
No names, nothing.
Yeah.
So he was the skateboard dude. But he asked me one day, this was like year 6 or 7. He's like, hey man, do you got a tag? And I'm like, what? What the hell's a tag?
Yeah.
And so like really didn't think much of it. The conversation didn't really go anywhere from my memory.
Yeah.
But then like, a week or so, maybe a couple of days, I go to school. And one of my friends, he's like, hey bro, do you got a tag? And I'm like,
when it was popping.
Yeah, like, what is this tag business,
I
man?
need to get me a tag.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, can you please break this down for me?
What year are we talking, if you don't mind me asking?
Gotta be 90s.
Bro, we're talking about the 80s here,
80s,
son.
late
You know?
80s.
Yeah, like the late 80s. Hell yes,
yeah,
the late
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Super, super late.
89.
But like, so the brother's like telling me, yo, you need a tag because like your tag is like your nickname, like it's like a name that everyone calls you. And I'm like your family and stuff. And he's
On
like,
some
nah,
wild
nah,
style
nah.
shit.
It's like your friends and shit. And he's like, my tag is Cobra. And I'm like, for real, your tag is Cobra. It's tough. So I'm just like, and he's like, yeah. Well, this is what he breaks it down to, bro. He's like, yo, you know, your tag's got to be like, it's got to sound tough. It's got to have like a ring to it.
Yeah.
So, because this motherfucker, he said fucking Cobra to me. I go home and I'm like, all I got is like snakes going through my head, you know? And I'm like, I can't call myself King Brown, you know, even though I was, bro.
You could, but
Nah.
you already understood.
I just didn't even go there. I was too young to even think any of that shit. Anyways, but like, subconsciously, you're like, nah, you don't go there, bro.
yeah.
So like, what I settled on like rattlesnake. You know? So like, my first tag cuz was rattlesnake.
Big can
And
waste.
so the dude's like, he's like, fuck yeah, man. That shit is tough. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
And every time you got the fucking can, you'd use half of it.
Fuck yeah, okay. All right, well, here's the next part. So, like, you feel it, bro, you know?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
obviously,
Big
you
brother.
dabbled in that area in your life, right? So, check
Yeah.
this. So, I go home, and the dude's like, this is the skateboard dude.
Yeah, it's
And he's like, he asked me again, he's like, so what? Do you got a tag or what? And I'm like, hell yeah, I got a
rattlesnake.
tag, bro. And he's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, rattlesnake. And he's like, what the
Can't do
fuck? He's like, nah,
You boy.
man. He goes, you can't fucking do rattlesnake. And I'm like, what for, bro?
I
And
think
he goes,
King Brown
that
should have
shit has
worked.
got too many letters in it, man.
Yeah,
it's
it's
going
huge.
to take you forever to put that shit up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck,
Yeah,
man.
you want to keep it short.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, he starts schooling me on shit, and he showed me like a graffiti like magazine, and there's like a bunch of tags, and I'm like seeing like people got like all sorts of tags, like pronto and
Yeah.
you know, like fire and run and deuce, and I'm like, oh yeah. So it's all different. So I settled on like whisper, right? But like I really didn't like. I wasn't like really into this shit. This is just my introduction
it's the
into
start.
the culture of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward like a year, I've like entered high school, right? And so there's dudes in high school that like year 9s and 10s, they're actually riders and shit, part of crews and that. And I'm starting to like realize like, oh, there's a little bit more to it. And you know, like everything, you know, bunch of respect, bunch of friends, you know, a whole lot of number of things can come into play.
Somewhat organized.
So it's like, to get you associated with like a bunch of people like that, you know.
Fuck
but
yeah, especially back then.
But it was dope, you know. So like, man, I was like super interested in this shit.
Yeah.
And then I met this one dude who introduced me to a bunch of other cats, you know.
Yeah.
So what up, my brother Grossy? You know, so like straight out, we was all Jeps Cross boys, right?
Yeah.
So we was all Enfield High School. Yeah, man, you tell how old I am because my school got knocked down, bro. It no longer exists.
It's gone.
Yeah, there's a bunch of houses
26
there.
isn't old, my bro.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Oh, hell yeah, bro, you know? Man, you know, 21st is next week, man. You guys are welcome, you know?
Yeah, I'll
Calm
be there.
down, bro. But like, so I met all these other cats and...
Young dudes ain't got no stories, bro.
Yeah,
You
bro.
gotta live it first.
Yeah, fuck yeah. And look, man, I actually really love this shit. And like, so I met brother Grossy, and he was fucking super connected in the area, right? He lived like basically across the road from where we went to school. So this cat was just connected.
Yeah.
And being in Jeps Cross, the city's like a stone's throw away. So like, you know, it's almost like the oyster is yours, bro.
Yeah.
You know? You go and grab it. And we were like little city kids, man, little run-amok.
Run around and shit.
Yeah,
little
skater rats.
begging for $2 and shit from like, you know, the peacow cats coming off the train.
Stacking cans.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I feel sorry for you graph heads these days. Like
You can't even steal them.
you just gonna acquire your paint, man.
They
You
were
cats
locked
gotta
up.
have jobs and
Fucking
shit.
$40 a can.
Yeah, no one had jobs back in the day. We was like going on racking missions, bro.
Yeah.
But
The shit's
that
all
was-
locked up. You
From
fucked
one-
it up for the young guys.
From
Yeah,
one,
we
one,
definitely fucked
one
it up.
shop to the next with a
It was
car, one
fun.
shop to the next.
Yeah, it definitely had its like fucking
Belt line in it.
bro. Yeah, it had its challenges, but like
Yeah.
super fun time,
Yeah.
But like
No cameras and shit.
straight out.
The good old days.
So I met a bunch of these dudes, and I started like heavily getting into graffiti. Kind of left my skating stuff behind, and so like a bunch of old school cats that I used to roll with, like Cope. Cope was like a serious dope ass skater, one of the best skaters I ever seen, man. Like super up on par with dudes you watch on TV.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
And another dude, Caleb, man. He was like a super dude, like dope dude in our crew. Man, like super dope cats to watch skate, man.
Yeah.
I have no idea, like brother Cope, rest in peace, cause like
Rest in
he's
peace.
passed on, but always like his memory, man, he was like just one of those little crazy dudes, man, who was just down for whatever and like sort of like inspired me to like pop tags and do hangouts.
It's a real
and-
influence.
Yeah, like really cool stuff. And,
Yeah.
and a bunch of these dudes like,
How'd he pass, if you don't mind me asking?
oh, bro, man, look, I don't really know the details in it, but I know that, brother went through a lot of trials and tribulations,
Okay.
man, and like, it's lonely out here, you know
Yes.
what I mean? And
Fucking, that's real,
but
bro.
every time I would like see the brother, never walk past him,
Yeah, yeah.
always give him props and love and,
Dab him up.
um,
It's the homie.
tell my kids who he was,
Yeah,
never leave it just to,
Yeah.
like, who the hell was that moment,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
my kids, oh man, this was a dude, like,
Part of
didn't
my
tell
life.
them the whole stories, but
Yeah, just
good
enough.
friend, like
Yeah.
a really close friend,
Yeah.
known dad for forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, these cats like introduced me into other lifelong friends that like that are like I feel like are super influential here in Adelaide. Like man, through these cats I was like super like how can I put it, like I don't know, man. I just had the opportunity to have like to be in the presence of some dope graph heads here.
Be a
in
part
Adelaide.
of something.
Yeah, so
something more.
one of my bros who I went to school with, his older brother was part of RCF, and
Yeah.
so like I really got exposed to the graph and stuff, and these dudes really like opened the door.
Proper putting it on.
Yeah, and like I seen like some real graffiti. I was a part of like some cool bombing sessions, man. That was crazy. We used to make like
Big train
train
shit.
keys out of
Yeah.
socket sets and
Yeah.
lock carriages
Real
down.
shit.
cuz.
Yeah, like full organised shit.
Yeah, like it was fun, man. Like we
Sick,
were still young fellas, but like
Good time though, like
mad fun. Like in a strange way, doing all that crazy shit. It taught me how to keep a level head later on in life.
Yeah.
Like in a super strange way, man. That shit might make no sense.
nah,
to
makes
some
plenty
people,
of sense.
but
No,
like,
trials and tribulations will teach you the best lessons.
Yeah.
So like we're super out there and stuff like that. But like all these dudes, man, like showed me hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
Introduced me to hip hop. I never ever had any ambitions to be an MC. It was nothing that was ever on my plate.
Yet you can
Earlier
rap
on.
your motherfucking ass off.
I just love it, Like I remember learning hip hop songs. I don't know if you fellas, as young fellas,
Of course.
yeah, you dope a song that you love, you're like shit, man. I need
Fuck
to
kicking it in
learn
the
this
mirror
shit.
with your fucking
Hell
hammer.
yeah, bro! I used to have my fake gun in my like,
Yeah.
in my thing, and like sitting in the mirror, like, "Go on, test me, partner." Yeah, you know what I mean? But like,
It was a part of it.
bro, like, it was just fun, bro.
Yeah.
Did you go up with punk shit? Being a skateboarder?
Nah.
No,
we-
I
Nah,
mean,
that shit's
like,
out.
It was just different because I'm from Melbourne originally. In Melbourne,
It was still cruise.
it was
though.
all
There was a movie
it
called-
was punk rock, but there was still graph crews.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Because like there was like AFP in Melbourne, which are fucking crazy, and which I'm absolutely not affiliated with, and don't want to claim I am, but some of the homies are.
Please leave me
So
alone.
it was,
I
and
mean,
then
like-
but we ended up getting into hip hop. That's how I got into hip hop,
Yeah.
and we sort of transitioned from punk rock over to hip hop. But it was the same thing. It was It was a clash against society. We wanted to
yeah.
take down the system. We
Well,
wanted to
hell
fucking
yeah.
destroy that.
Well, you fucking failed, and now look at us.
Yeah. Well, look, man,
Sitting
bro.
in this nice house.
Yeah, sitting in this fucking heavily taxed, fucking rent through the roof fucking house.
I mean, I never
you
got
failed.
Establishment 1 again. You
Start again.
motherfuckers.
Go again. Have another shot.
Well, my bro,
Yeah.
not me personally. I mean, the only fucking exposure I had of punk, but this is the same principle with hip hop. When I seen it, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
So there was a movie I used to love as a kid called Thrasher.
Yeah, it's a skate movie, yeah?
Skate movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got it.
And it had like the Chili Peppers in it.
Oh, no shit.
When they was super like
Yeah.
they were punk, like a little bit more punk than they was than what we seen them as.
Like
Kid- yeah,
Mother's Milk Day.
Yeah, no, young.
Yeah,
like
you know,
92.
The naked days where they like
Yeah.
kicking like shows naked and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
like that type of stuff.
Playing that
Yeah.
what's that Stevie Wonder song, Higher Ground, they used to play.
Yeah, like stuff
stage.
like that,
Yeah.
bro. You know,
On stage in their jocks and shit.
but yeah, man, like, but
In
that
just
was
a sock.
hell yeah, that was fun.
I tell you, it's a real man, bro.
I bet you're saying, Paul.
Hey.
Nah.
Don't throw me down there again.
Yeah, I heard he does some shit like that, but we won't go there.
Yeah. You tried, eh? Cuz. But anyways,
We can.
but
We
yeah, I
can.
said I put my foot in it, man.
Yeah, good, yeah.
But you know, but look, that was my introduction to the whole hip hop scene and brothers. Like, you know, I looked up to like brother Said, Ambush, RCF.
Big names.
You know, was like a big brother to me. You know.
Yeah.
Because I was like really good friends with his younger brother, and still really good friends with
Yeah.
brother man, brother enemy. But like one dude that I was always in like fucking awe of, man, was brother Foe and Adrock, better known as like people know him as Tans. Like those dudes just like, you know. For Foe, like
Foe
just a
RCF.
super,
Yeah?
yeah,
Yeah.
Foe RCF,
Yeah.
super humble dude, and I don't know if you has ever caught any of his podcasts, but like you get a glimpse of like super packed with knowledge, humble character.
I'm keen to, like, off camera, show me how to fucking watch it. Yeah, I'm keen to check it out.
Super dope dude, and like in a way,
follow-
well, not in a way. These guys were my teachers, man. You know?
Yeah.
And fucking, I got a lot of respect for these cats.
Street knowledge.
Yeah, they you know, whether they know it or not, you know.
Yeah.
They fucking took people under their wing and things like that.
Yeah.
Like,
What I like, you know, some of the, like basically for Adelaide, they were like earlier pioneers. Like as far as you got to admit that.
bro, like, look, if you was a part
They
of
were
the
big
scene,
names.
right?
They were big
These
names.
dudes were fucking
Yeah.
bigger than Keanu
And they
Reeves
still are.
and
Yeah.
Hollywood, you know,
Yeah.
Hollywood dudes in that
Graph
time,
was
you know?
exploding like
for a
fucking-
young kid, like, I
Yeah.
was going to Video Easy and shit
Yeah.
and like borrow movies here and there, but like, they weren't my fucking heroes that I was watching on TV.
Yeah.
Like, I had family members who were my heroes, but then I had like these graph dudes were
they're
my
just
fucking heroes, man.
fucking
you know?
And it was
ink
family.
everywhere.
It's fucking family.
Yeah, hell yeah, and still is, man.
Yeah.
You know, and like I fucking like I hold those like times and cherish them with my heart, bro. You know,
Should, yeah.
and I think it's important for me to like talk about this shit.
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
I think it's dope, man. you
That's a
know?
huge part of our culture here.
Yeah, bro.
Like
and-
the graph now is garbage. It hasn't been good for a long time. Like,
I really don't. Look, I've met out the brother's house. I've met a couple like dudes who were like
it's only the old
pretty active
schoolers
these days. you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. There are some, yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen some like cool stuff out there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know? But look, I have
But
no
it's
idea
not-
what the atmosphere is like
It's
out
not.
there.
It's not in abundance like it was.
Yeah,
what I
man.
feel.
Like, look, one thing I can say, if like anyone's like interested, like in knowing about that old school stuff, like yeah, man, like listen to Brother Foe. He talks some really dope shit. Because like for real, like if you've ever like
I follow him on the gram. I'll check his shit out.
like if you've ever like been interested in graffiti and stuff, and like there's a lot of like if you type graffiti up in the
You get all kinds of shit.
yeah, you get all types of shit, but there is a lot of stuff from New York, right? So you
Yes.
look at New York shit and
All that wild style shit.
yeah, but like you see the bombed ass trains, man, in and out, right?
Yeah, they're
so
fucked.
like here in Adelaide, right? Like look, our trains went bombed and shit like that back in the 80s. I mean in the 90s and shit, but. Shit, man, our buses
were fucked.
destroyed, bro.
Rooftops
like,
and
people don't
everything.
understand.
Yeah, I remember.
Like the king tag of all tags was the roof tag.
Yes,
if you could pop a roof tag, it's like woo.
In the double, when when the double bus turns the corner, you get up.
That's the shit, man.
You lay it across the
hell
roof.
yeah. I tell you, South Australian government,
crazy.
back in the day, you started putting all them roundabouts in, you just open the doorway for all of us to just destroy your buses,
I was
man.
never a good piecer, but I used to fucking destroy shit with the fucking
Hey, look, man, you know.
with the textures, man.
Well, you know what,
20
right?
mils and shit,
The
30
fucking
mils.
hell isn't that? Because I'm outside looking in. I'm not a graph guy. Definitely skateboarder. Definitely.
My
a rap
writing's
dude.
still fucked now.
But when I first moved to Adelaide, seeing how influential the fucking graph scene, the graffiti
Huge.
scene here is, just everyone's into it. It's a whole fucking
bro.
the scenes.
Melbourne was different. Like we had our own like. Even the way we dressed here was completely different.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going to Melbourne.
parachute pants.
15
Everyone had
years
parachute pants
Yeah, I
on,
went to
like,
Melbourne
over.
15 years ago in the Nike International shit.
Everyone had
We got
Nikes.
pulled over instantly. And they're
Air-
like,
Air
"You aren't
Max?
from here, are you?"
These ones.
No, I went from Adelaide. Because we had our own style here. It was like
What are they,
riders wear.
90s?
Yeah, we definitely had
We
our
got the
own
homie off
style.
camera.
The
He's got
fucking-
the 90s on. I come over,
the
everyone's
Nike
in
pants and
parachute
shit.
pants. They're wearing fucking Air Max 90s, and they're graphing everything.
And everyone's got a 20
And then
mil
every
with that
time
one.
I play a show here,
We got fucking art line stains
Yeah.
on our fucking crutches and
yes,
shit, you know?
stop graphing the
Fucking
toilets
mouth
because the
up.
drinks are going up, you motherfuckers. Stop graphing the toilets. Respect the venue. I'd
think
never heard that before until I come here, man.
No, but the
It wasn't in Melbourne. That shit didn't exist.
Bro, the
I didn't do
the
nothing.
the
Should I just-
venues were
It wasn't me.
fucked here.
I didn't do nothing.
The venues, we used to bomb the fuck out of the venues. But that was when hip hop was in every venue, not just one.
Well, I first started playing shows in Adelaide in 2004.
Bro,
2005,
they
and it
were
was
bombed.
out of control. And then the drinks go up $1 for every tag, and
If
it's
you
like
weren't
you're paying
in them
$75 for a beer at
If
the
you
end of the
didn't
night.
have a tag on that toilet wall, you were a fucking whack.
Toy.
Yeah.
I learned that too from moving to Adelaide.
A 4-cut solid fucking big dragger across the door and then one on the mirror on your way out. Because that's what we did.
Straight out.
Yeah, and
Straight out.
you made me pay all this
good
money
fun.
for
If it didn't
beers.
smell like dead ants in that toilet from the solid, nothing was happening.
Facts.
Right.
Straight out.
Everyone was killing them.
Man, it was fun. It was a good time back in the day, man. All that stuff was like, you know, look, like I said, man, super appreciative because like that shit opened the door to like me to be a hip hopper and well, I don't know about open the door, but give me the confidence, man, you know.
But it kept you moving through the culture in the different ways.
Hell yeah, you know.
Gave you something to strive for.
Yeah.
I want to be like the homies.
One thing that I pick up on when I'm out doing the live stuff and we're performing at events and things like that, I can definitely tell the older cats.
Yes.
Not like I could just close my eyes because like
You just see the
we
way they
grew
talk.
up in a era where
Yeah.
hip hop was all about flow, content, and your lyrical ability and things like that. You know, we wasn't like real big on repeating words over and over again and things like that. And we definitely didn't all start songs off, or we didn't hear songs listening that were started off exactly the same as everyone else.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I'm still waiting for someone to say B, C, D, E, F, G to all the fellas out there start their raps with A. Yeah.
Hey, out.
Yeah, you know, and no disrespect to the followers, you know, but it's like originality, man, you know,
Change
like
it up.
change it up, man, you know.
Yeah.
And I think like for me,
That's-
I love the fact of the era that I come from because there was so much variety. No one wanted to sound the same, so
Yeah.
I loved all that. But like, man, for real, I really didn't know I was gonna be an MC. It was just something that I picked up.
So let's go there. So where did it happen?
Yeah, so
Where-
how
where
did you start emceeing?
You start kicking shit at parties when
Nah, nothing like that, bro. Nothing
Nah.
like that. So
Nothing like that.
nothing like that. Never busted no rhymes at no parties.
What the fuck?
That's
really?
all I fucking done.
Nothing like that. Never done no ciphers.
Oh,
nothing
let's
like
hear it.
that. So back in the day, like I had children, right? So became a father and things like that.
Yep.
How many kids you got?
I got 3 daughters.
Yeah.
3 daughters.
God forbid.
Yeah, man, for real. And
That'll-
for
that'll
all the
test
people,
you.
yeah, and you can't and you can't bad mouth it because it's like
Yeah.
I'm a single dad, you know.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
And I work and I bust my ass and yeah, so representing
On some real man
all
shit.
the males out here because like yeah, I feel like we ain't got a spokesperson out here and we do some really hard work
You
and
can fucking do it.
we get bad mouthed by other clowns like doing some foul shit and
women.
well hell yeah, bro, like it's a mixed bag, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
There's
yeah,
some good dads
no
out
one,
there,
no one
man.
speaks on our behalf sometimes, but yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to quickly say that.
Shout
Like,
on you, man.
Shout out to
yeah,
the real
we-
fucking
we
dads
some
out there.
good people,
Good
you
man.
know, and like we deserve to be supported just like any fucking
Fuck
anyone
yeah.
else.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That's real shit.
But yeah, but like getting back to
First time.
how I got into hip or why I wanted to be an MC and shit
yeah.
is yeah, became a father and really just wanted to better myself as, you know, like didn't want to be like the typical laborer dude, you know, walking around in high vis and especially being a Nunga follower here, you know.
Yeah.
Like people like especially in the labor industry, people love employing us with the subsidy bullshit, you know.
Yeah,
And
especially
really
now.
It's that reverse racism
that
shit.
fucking that really
Fuck
means
that.
like there's no pathway for us
No.
to better ourselves or to higher up the
No
ranks.
progression.
Yeah, we kind of fucking you start off as a floor sweeper and you live your days out as a fucking floor sweeper.
Yeah.
And, like that shit's got to stop exploiting us, man. You know,
They're doing that more than
stop
ever.
that motherfucking shit. You know, because for real, like there's real people out here that like these young fellas, they deserve to be given the opportunity to do a career. And if you're gonna do
Fuck
some
yeah.
shit like that, like do it right.
What do
know?
you think the
Like,
right?
for
Why
real.
we're here? Why we're here? What could they do better? Do you know what I mean? To put younger people on the right path
I think just like creating a
anything.
pathway, you know. So like, and what I mean by a pathway is
without the
like
subsidy bullshit.
saying, "Hey, look, this is where you're gonna start, and if you stick this shit out for
You
X
get
amount
here.
of years, you're gonna be here."
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Yeah,
don't-
but
something to strive to? Is that what
the
you mean?
colour shit? It's if
Exactly.
you're a hardworking motherfucker,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
should fucking
Absolutely.
reap the
Yeah.
benefits of your hard
so
work.
what, like, and to
Absolutely.
break it down for people who don't know, so like, you get a subsidy, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is
Government subsidy.
the government will pay the employer $20,000, and that will take care of their first 6 months of employment.
Yeah.
And what employers are doing is they're shacking these young fellas up
Take the money.
after the 6 months. Yeah, take the money, and then like the hours start to cut back.
Yeah. And this
you
this
know,
for the
then-
record,
and then it ends like
this is
oh,
for
you
our,
know.
our First Nation people.
Well,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
That's,
I just want to
yeah,
make it
most
clear.
definitely.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen the shit happen.
Yeah.
So like one of the things for me, that wasn't something I was down to be a part of. You know,
Right, yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to.
'Cause you're a hardworking
I
motherfucker.
wanted to. I want my children to look up to me, man. You know, and I want them to be like, "Damn, Dad's a cool ass cat. You know, he's a cool
Yeah.
dude,
And it can
He's
be done.
He's a hard worker.
Dad
yeah.
did it.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
bro. You know, so it led me to stop doing all those bullshit jobs. And
yeah.
as like in my 20s, I went to university and I was like, I'm gonna like study something. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So I went in there, had no idea what I was doing. So
But you fucking went in
so
there.
before I actually committed to everything, I did a small course. It's called a bridging course, man, where you go in and they teach you how to like academically write and
Mm-hmm.
just get you back in the swing of things of researching and all that type of shit, you know.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
did that quickly.
This is in Adelaide, yeah?
Yeah, Adelaide University.
Yeah,
Yep.
did
So
that.
did that for like 3 or 4 months, and then like felt I was ready to fucking enter into the fucking like the full on university,
Yeah.
and then like had to pick out a bunch of subjects and shit. Had no idea what I was doing, Like I was just like
Drawing
man.
them out the hat.
I don't know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but I'm doing something.
I remember like I was like, man, critical thinking, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, hell yeah. And then like things like that, I was like pointing out, right?
Yeah.
And then as like time went on, like I really enjoyed the critical thinking, you know. So basically, if anyone out there don't know what critical thinking is, it's basically like when I went to university, like the first assignment was you either believe in aliens or you don't,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to put your argument forward with facts, research facts.
Yep.
So you can't just fucking write whatever you like, you know.
No, you
So
got-
if you're against it, you got to fucking go research.
Yeah,
gotta
you're
research.
against it.
Yes.
Why the fuck
And
are
you
you
got to
against it?
quote the authors and shit
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
books and all that type of shit. You know?
absolutely.
So I was like, oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed some help. So I thought to, instead of like falling into a hole and like hitting a brick wall or anything, I'll fucking get a tutor and shit.
Fuck yeah.
So my tutor, he was like, fuck, a super cool cat. He actually was like a lecturer at Adelaide University, and he was a social anthropology lecturer.
Oh shit.
And man, half of my tutoring sessions, we'd sit there fucking talking about anthropology, bro.
Yeah.
And he just had me fucking mesmerized,
Yeah.
bro. I'm just like, what the
That's a lot to
fuck?
talk about.
Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, man.
That's
like,
what I'm like with
that's super
astronomy.
cool, man. I really and if you don't know what like social anthropology is, like just in fucking quick break it down, it's all about structure. You know, social structure. So like there's structure in the animal kingdom, there's structure, you know, within human beings, there's structure in your
everything.
workforce, you know, like all that type of shit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So and I really got into that, ended up majoring in that type of stuff and like got like a Bachelor of Arts and shit.
yeah.
But while I'm like doing all this shit, right? I'm like, oh man, you know, I'm gonna read an autobiography by a dude named Charlie Perkins. And just quickly on Charlie Perkins is like a Aboriginal activist
Yeah.
here in Australia, right? He's from Northern Territory and he's like part of the stolen generation
Yeah.
Okay.
people. So he like he did a bunch of cool shit. If you know anything about like Aboriginal history here and like in Australia and shit, like and you know about the freedom rides in the 60s and shit like that. This guy actually spearheaded all that shit. Super influential dude, I feel, you know, like in our
Oh, for sure.
in our fucking history here after colonization and things. Like a
Absolutely,
cool dude to sort of inject like, you know, that love and all that back into the people and tell you are somebody.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, absolutely.
Instead of looking elsewhere for it, which I thought was super cool.
Well, it's
So-
necessary.
Well, it's,
Because
it's a
what-
must.
We can't skip over what happened was fucked up.
Fuck yeah,
It's
bro.
it's fucking
You
horrible.
know,
it is
Australian
so fucked.
Aboriginals are the oldest surviving people ever.
Yeah.
Oldest surviving civilization in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
65,000 years of history, culture, art,
There's a lot
tradition, stories, dreamtime, the whole shit.
Yeah.
And then people just
Stampeded through it. Basically.
They-
Look, we've had a tough run, bro. You know, we've had a tough run and shit like that, and
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
but like one thing that like my nan and my family and shit really taught me, and I don't know if they know that they showed me this stuff, but they taught me to don't let shit define who
you
the fuck
are,
you are. You know, and
You mean you might have picked it up without him even knowing?
yeah, I
Just-
think so,
just-
bro.
just
know,
being
and
around 'em.
I think that was like,
Yeah.
I think that's like a fucking extension of the love that
Fuck
I
yeah.
was surrounded by, you know, as a young person
It's killer.
in this crazy ass fucking world.
Oh,
you know? And like fucking yeah, that was like super cool. So I read Charlie's book, and this dude like fucking inspired me, bro. You know, he really fucking inspired me. Where I started writing like poems and shit.
Ah.
And like I wasn't like I didn't really know what I was doing, man, you know?
Just fucking
I
around.
just started writing shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then like
just putting your thoughts on a page.
yeah, bro. And then I met this other cat who just so happened to fucking be getting into music at the time. Not a hip hopper by any means. He was more of a heavy metal rocker dude, you know?
Yeah.
But he would like dabble around and make little hip hop beats and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like all just started from there. Like I feel like it was an accident, you know?
Yeah,
Like, but
nah.
it was almost like meant to be.
Meant to be. Yeah.
And I was just waiting for the right time to,
Yeah.
I don't know, jump in there and do
Fuck
it.
yeah.
But yeah, man. And then like the rest is fucking history, bro. You know, like and then like started like fully like getting into writing music and found out another cousin like actually makes beats and shit. And,
No shit.
and he was like super into the same music as
Yeah.
me. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? You know, and like he loved EPMD, man, you know? So
As do all of us.
Yeah.
yeah, bro, you know, you got to shoot that sheriff, bro. You got to rock that track. One of the dopest, illest tracks I ever
You're not
heard.
wrong, bro.
Funky as. But like, yeah, man, and like, bro, this whole hip hop journey met some of the most lovely people, down to earth, you know, massive heart.
I've met the
people,
best.
you know.
I got the
Yeah,
best
yeah.
friends of my life from this shit,
Oh,
bro.
bro, look. I was going through a tough time in my life when I started like entering the live scene, you know,
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So I've attempted it twice. The first time wasn't so successful, and then the second time, things like sort of gelled a little better. And I happened to meet like a couple of dudes who I do music with now, and we called the like Dutched Out Natives, and brother Fizzer and Devis. Like we have just really become great friends, I believe, you know,
Which
like
is
over
important.
the time. Yeah, and we've made this like connection through this hip hop shit that we love
The
so
live
much.
show's great. We
Yeah.
played a bunch of shows together.
Fuck yeah, bro,
Yeah.
you know, and like it's just it's really cool, and it kind of like reinforces to me that all this hip hop shit has been a really good thing in my life, man.
Oh,
like
fuck
for
yeah,
real,
bro.
you know?
We've been pushing this since we started doing it, man. It's
Yeah.
unity is key. What?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If everyone comes together and we work together and big up each other,
It was always there.
we can fucking make something great.
We just need to
hell
bring
yeah.
We
it
can
back.
all win together.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And look, man,
Everyone's got something, man, to offer.
most
you know?
definitely.
Yeah.
And
Fuck the
I definitely,
egos, fuck the bullshit.
Bro, the ego is crazy. I say to people like, hip hop is a funny fucking genre, right?
Yeah, it is,
Because
yeah.
like, there's a very fucking thin line because you
You're
look,
trying
we
to-
can all agree, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to bring a certain amount of ego to
And
the table.
shock value.
Right, so you can't be a timid cat and
Yeah.
like so you're not going to be taken very well. So you gotta. There's a thin line between
Like, mate.
the ego, and then there's like a thin line between being a cocksucker, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
for real. So
Yeah.
like it's fucking teetling on the edge there, bro.
Yeah,
you know?
it's up and down.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta be fucking careful, man.
And
Like for real, bro.
Yeah.
Like you gotta
And
like
people,
know
like-
how to navigate that fucking part.
because people hear you shit and they think they know who you are. So it's a
Oh,
problem.
that's weird.
It's a
Especially-
problem.
especially for
Exactly,
you
bro.
because
Because they hear
you're
me.
on that murder core shit.
Well, I don't really think I am. Like,
Yeah, but
I've already explained this. I got some crazy shit to say, but I feel like everyone does. But the throat in my voice makes it a little bit
Yeah, you
worse.
got a raspy. You definitely got that raspy.
So-
fucking-
he's white Samuel Jackson, bro.
Is some of it is some of it angry? Get the snakes
Tell
off
me
this
I'm wrong,
motherfucking
like, bro.
plane,
Say motherfucker for me, please.
motherfucker. So
See?
some
Why do you think I
of
fuck with this guy?
some of it's for sure angry, but it was intended to be angry.
Hell yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
How do you think I read his text messages?
You read him angry.
When are you coming up, bro?
That's because you're always fucking up.
Holy shit,
You wait for me to yell at you.
Holy shit.
Always fucking
You
up.
funny fellas.
Nah, I just, especially.
Got the verse finished.
I feel like it's darker. Mine's a darker style for sure, but that's just the energy of the beats I like and
Hell yeah.
the sound I like. That doesn't mean
feel that.
People when they meet me, I feel like 20 minutes they've got a completely different idea about
Yeah.
who I am.
Oh, it takes a second with you.
Like I'm an honest motherfucker. I never fuck no one. I never
Hell yeah.
shit on anyone. Always prop people up. And like, what more could you ask for in this sport than just fucking some of that? You know what I'm saying?
Did we meet at the Juke show? Was that the first time I actually met you,
I think I'm
or did we meet before that?
the what show?
The Rusty Jukes. Was you at Rusty?
Yeah, we were there. We did that together.
Yeah. Because I remember having a yarn with you.
yeah,
And we had a
at
good
front.
yarn. I feel like that was the first time I
Yeah.
actually.
There.
I walked away and was like, "Fuck, man, brother."
But
man,
I'd
he's
watched-
a cool cat, man.
But
you
I
know?
watched you a few
White
times
Samuel
before
Jackson's
that.
a nice guy.
I watched you a few times before that too.
Oh, word, bro.
Because shout out to my boy Beast. I remember he showed me,
Cheers, brother.
and it was Dutch native shit too. I think it was you were walking up the subway. You know that one? Or you walking near the train and shit,
Hell
spitting
yeah.
shit.
That's a good track, man.
He
I
showed me
like
that, and that was before, because that was when I just around when I started doing my shit.
Hell yeah,
So, yeah, that's when I sort of picked up on it, on you guys.
Hell yeah.
And your other crew, Sons of Serpent.
Sons of Serpent.
And
Yeah, man.
Fucking shout out Sons of Serpent.
Shout out the boys.
Shout out to the brothers, you know?
The
Yeah,
homies.
man. So, like, yeah, I'm sure followers would, you know
Yes.
me from, like, Sons of Serpent and things like that. Super dope crew. Dope shit.
Good
You
guys.
know, we did, like, that was, like, a real community fucking venture, that, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like me and
And
brother
I mean,
Jack.
you might see these guys at the show and think, there's some scary looking motherfuckers because
Yeah.
they're all big.
Yeah,
Sweet.
brother man's are big. They
Fuck,
big cats.
They're
man, you know?
gigantic, but they're fucking
Super,
good dudes.
super,
man.
Sweet, you're all
yeah,
fucking sweetheart.
We all
In fact,
earthly,
What show do we play? Onyx? Do we play Onyx?
We played Onyx, yeah.
Played in.
I think we played. What was that one in the church at the old synagogue? Fucking shit.
With Jono, Escology. Yeah, we played that one.
Played that one.
Northern Sound System.
Northern Sound, hell yeah. That was a Matty B, eh?
Matty B,
Matty
yeah.
B.
That was a fucking fun
That was a
show.
good show. Brother Man was
Yeah.
was there and like, yeah, bruv. I think like followers. That was the first time followers got to really see the Dutched out natives.
That
like,
was you guys
in full
smashed that
swing, you know.
night,
Like,
man, yeah.
fuck yeah,
That's my
we-
favorite set I reckon I've seen you guys do.
Yeah, most definitely. I got to. I don't know. You're probably the same. I fucking know video. I get people to videotape all my sets.
Yeah, why
then
not?
I go home and like,
We videotape our
I'm like,
conversation.
damn, yeah, pick myself apart. You know?
Yeah, that's the bit.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you do that for?
And
Can't hear
as
myself.
we got you on the table here with a nice little snap, same thing.
Where's that
yeah.
from?
That's what it's all about.
This was a fucking gig that brother Tyreha set up.
The man.
And this was like I don't
comes
even
up every week.
brother. Yeah, man. Well, you know, look, I'll tell you
Keeps
straight
me
out.
mean.
I actually watched all
I
the
love that
other
guy.
podcasts. You know, like
Yeah,
I've watched all the
appreciate that,
episodes
man.
and shit, man. You know, to show love and support.
Appreciate it, brother.
But like I noticed people talk about Tyreha a lot, and I think like.
That's a special guy,
mean,
man.
Man, shit. I've even found myself like trying to tell other people like when people like check this dude out, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
cats are overrated, bro. Check this cat out from
yeah.
Old Dinga, bro.
Yeah, he's good.
Like like a versatile dude, you know.
Don, man.
Yeah.
I think he's 100% hip hop.
Yeah.
But the dude represents so much more than just hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Fuck yeah. He's a good man.
He's more than just hip hop, bro.
Yeah.
He's a different cat, bro.
He's a special
Like,
motherfucker.
He's got a lot of styles.
Yeah, and
But
like,
just him as a person, man.
Yeah.
You hang out with him for 10 seconds, you're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, man.
But you know, if you look through this shit, like such as yourself, you're gonna find a lot of good people.
fuck
Facts.
yeah, bro.
I feel, you know, hip hop's always gets thrown under the bus as he's a
fuck
fucking
yeah.
rapper.
Hell yeah, bro.
You know, people like that.
That's why I started singing.
Well, man, I think that's the why
It's
I think
garbage.
like this is cool because like I think I
You can
mentioned
see-
to you boys like just
Yeah.
out there that you
people
know
see who you are.
going to the live shows and shit.
Mm.
Like you know if anyone's ever seen me, you know, and to the people who've come up and stuff. Yeah, we've like said what up and shit, but like you like
don't
followers
really
haven't
know-
really get to
know each other properly,
me
yeah.
deep or
How can you in 3
yeah,
hours?
Yeah, it's like really hard. We got fucking music banging and shit.
Well, it's
so it's
well,
not
just-
really an intimate fucking meeting where you're like, oh yeah, fuck man, I really dig
Maybe
your view on that
taking
shit.
a piss next to each other.
Yeah,
you get a
you
little
know.
yarn.
Yeah, but when you're about to go on stage, you're about to play
Yeah.
a show. Because the first thing
yeah, it's in your head.
I'm
already.
fine, right? I can play a show in front of 10,000 people, be fine.
Yeah.
But if I forget my first line,
You're done.
I'm fucked.
Well,
the
so
whole
is
show's gone.
everyone.
Yeah,
So is everyone.
So I'm meeting, say, hey bro, how you going? We're having a chat, and then in my head it's like,
First line, first line.
and then once, get me after the show.
Because
That's
the
what I'm
first
talking
line's
about.
a trigger to the rest of
Yeah,
the
man.
fucking verse.
Yeah.
For one, I've done it a couple of times where I've got up and I kicked the first verse, and we've gone through the hook, and I've come back and I've started the first verse again. I'm like, God damn you, motherfucker!
I've done-
I just jammed it. I said, no, switch that shit off. Next.
Yeah.
And no one really noticed it because it's just so loud and blasting.
Yeah, bro.
But it's as soon as you fuck that first line up,
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's first, second, or third. Once you fuck that first line, you're going. That's
You're
where you're
fucked.
going.
Hell
You're
yeah.
going down that line.
Hell yeah.
Or it's like when a comedian bombs.
Well,
and then
it's-
you're on stage and you're like,
it's a
oh,
trigger.
fuck.
The first line is a trigger
Hell
to
yeah.
the rest of it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I feel exactly
And
the
each
same
word
way.
in front of each word in front of the next is a trigger for the next word.
Sure is.
Because it's imprinted. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so when someone's talking to me at the bar 5 minutes
Get
before
the
I'm about
fuck
to go
out
on,
my face.
yeah, just back it up.
Go
Talk
get-
to me
Hell
after
yeah.
the show, and we'll be best bros.
So
We'll
it's like
fucking-
it's a dope.
we'll make drunk plans together.
It's a dope setting you brothers have like created. So you know, some of the artists can come here and give a little bit of insight on themselves and
But
shit.
we're trying. We
you know,
want to
Show
sneak
people who they
yeah,
are.
hell
behind
yeah.
the curtain, bro.
But like, can I just touch a little bit on like Sons of Serpent, some of the achievements that in that crew that
Please
like
do,
we achieved,
please.
man, like was super cool, you know?
Fuck yeah.
Like, man, we got to a point there where like I reckon one gig we got paid like 5 G's, man.
That's it.
So like
You're doing like the fucking WOMAD and all
yeah,
that shit.
warm out and stuff like that. Like, you
Yeah.
know, we got exposed to some really cool things like that. And
It's good.
man, I dare say, like some of the experience, you know, like helped me be a better performer and things
Fuck
like
yeah.
that. And, you know, and just probably learned some like tips and tricks along the way. But like, you know, Sons of Serpent, we got on MTV.
no shit.
We was on Rage for like 12 months. So they had
yeah.
our tracks run on Rage and MTV. And
Fuck yeah.
when we say MTV, not the American MTV.
no, yeah.
So there's a few different MTVs.
Yeah, it's the real one. It's the Australian
Yeah,
one
the Australian and New Zealand. It's like Australasian
with the
MTV.
real
Yeah,
fellas.
it is
Yeah,
Yeah, so
This
but it
side
was
was dope.
dope. So I was like super proud of the
Yeah, it
fact
should
that
be.
we had our music played, you know, in other countries and shit, especially New Zealand, because I got mad love and respect for the hip hop over there and the journey that they made. Like I
I
actually
feel like New Zealand are just like a part of us as much as we
bro,
are there,
do you
mate.
know what? I watched for the life of me, man. I cannot remember the name, but I watched a documentary about the first hip hop crew from New Zealand to tour America.
Yeah.
They went to New Zealand. They went to Detroit, and
That's a hard place.
when the dude came out, like
they're not fucking around in there.
when these Maori fellas come out, bro, brother had a Nunga flag, like an Aboriginal flag T-shirt on.
Yeah.
And the shit melted in my heart, bro, you know? And
Yeah.
it really put in perspective, you know, that like there's a lot of love between the cultures,
Fuck
you know?
yeah.
I mean, like shit, talking about brother man again, like he even
My first
touched-
hungy was on Ghana land.
hell yeah, bro. You know?
Fucking hell, man.
Like,
I'm a fucking Italian dude, and that
Bro.
fucking hit me. It's like
we
I got
have
a lot of
hit you
First
like a
Nation
special
homies,
connection,
and it was
you know?
like my first
Hell
hungy
yeah.
was on Ghana land. What the?
Like I love the
Fuck
fact
yeah,
that brother
man.
talks that, you know, and
Yeah.
and me talking how I'm talking right now, like I think kind of like we'll just fucking cement that it's like it's not just one person. There's like
Yeah.
multiple of us from both sides
All
of
kinds
the
of
water.
cultures
We
too.
feel the same, man.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's a brotherhood there,
Fucking
man.
hell.
I think,
bro,
especially
you
in
know?
this music shit.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
Because,
You know,
yeah.
like I think like super similar lives in regards to like the way you know we were both colonized by the you know the same group and stuff
Absolutely,
like
yeah.
that.
That's
you know?
why I feel like New Zealand and Australia are just one, you know? We're just a little split.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. You know, there's a lot of similarities.
I
man,
never,
and-
I never met anyone from New Zealand that I don't like.
well, do you know?
I can't name one, and I've
do you
met
know
hundreds.
anywhere else in any other country, right, where someone else's currency will be accepted just as normal shit.
Yeah.
Be chucked in our vending machine.
Yeah.
How many 20-cent New Zealand coins have
All
you
the
had
time.
Yeah.
over your lifetime?
Yeah.
How many 50-cent like New
All
Zealand
the
coins
time.
have you had?
They all went to war together.
Yeah, you get that Kiwi bird.
Oh,
on
you
the
don't see
fucking
it that
coins
much
and
these
shit.
days, you know.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
man, all that shit was
Still
cool.
though, like we are one, you know.
Man, look, most definitely.
sure.
Well, look, man, I don't know, man.
I mean,
like,
not like America and Canada, they fucking hate each other. We are really, I feel like we are one.
You can still spend American money in Canada though.
Yeah, but they fucking hate each other right now. They really hate each other right now.
fuck yeah, man.
How many times we ragged? How many times Australia ragged on New Zealand? Almost never. How many times we are one? Like, you know what I mean?
I grew up with Maldives. I don't
That's what I'm saying.
Well, check
I'm
this out.
fucking. I'm
It's not the
Italian and
same.
5'7". I'm
Stop
not saying
screaming in the
shit to
mic.
Maldives.
Stop screaming in the mic because I'm not going to go through and dead your line. Now, the difference is over there, America, the ego in America is just something else.
Yeah,
Like you talk to people face to face.
they're the modern day Roman Empire.
You talk to them
Loud,
face to
bro.
face,
Loud
and it's hard to
cats.
deal with, bro. It is hard to
I mean,
deal
we're
with.
loud, but
Yeah, we are loud and we're obnoxious, but it's a different kind.
Well,
Yeah, we're drunk.
Let me say, right? I didn't know what the fuck racism was until I was a late teenager.
Oh shit.
I'll be for real, man.
Well,
You know,
kids don't think
I
about
copped
that
ain't
shit.
no motherfucker
I was
like
called a wog and a
cornered
dago
me.
growing up.
Yeah, but like I didn't feel like fuck like I knew that
didn't
shit
feel
was
the
out
hate.
there.
You didn't feel the hate, is
But
what you
I
mean.
wasn't like every fucking day like racism, this and that.
No.
You know, like fuck yeah, I got called derogatory shit, right?
Yeah.
But like I never went home and stewed on this stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you just
because
got down to business.
everything else that like I looked at was nothing but love, man.
Yeah.
You know, so
do you feel like growing, because you've been through it all? Do you feel like it's the racism is worse now, or do you think it's? Let me finish. Do you think it's blown up more now, and it's exactly the same as it's always been?
I think like
What do you think?
I think there's always been
Of course.
because look, my whole understanding of all of this, right? So when someone doesn't like something, right? Well, this is just my understanding of it. So
Fear is hate.
yeah, so like when you like don't understand something,
Yeah.
the human nature, we create fear around that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try and push it. You try and push something away you don't understand.
Make a reason.
And then like comes the bullshit talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And it really blocks our fucking like, our ability to form fucking empathy and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because like
Real shit.
the people that I've spoken to and shit, when I've really got down to the nitty gritty and got to know fellas, like motherfucker, we all, and it don't matter if you black, pink, yellow, or whatever the fuck you is, right?
Yeah.
Like when you start to draw parallel lines with someone else's fucking life, and you start forming empathy for something, and you're like, motherfucker, you're just like me.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
grew up just like me.
We all bleed red,
like,
bro.
Yeah, so like, man,
Do you think maybe
I think
it
like-
seems worse because of phones and fucking this garbage, or do you just think you see it in a different way?
I reckon it's just
Because I know there's a lot of
mean-
angry people out there of colour as well, like, of course.
Well, look, and going back to this shit, I think like people with like really big chips on their shoulder really lack the ability to express themselves, and they're
people-
just fucking frustrated.
And people
bruv.
that lack the
They
fucking...
they don't have the right words and their vocabulary to tell you how the fuck they feeling right
Yeah,
now.
so all you racist motherfuckers, you are dumb as a motherfucker.
But you know what I'm
need to
saying?
shut the fuck
Yeah,
up before I kick
so,
you in the chest.
Like
Phones just, like, magnify everything to a bad
You're
place.
you're not wrong. The social media shit, it's
The
fucking
TV, the phones...
everything.
Everything.
But that's clicks, bro.
I mean,
so
I know.
if there's a
But that's how they snowball hate.
facts.
That's how they snowball hate.
Yeah, because that's where the clicks are at. That's how the news makes money. That's how you make money on the internet. If you fucking blow up for something crazy, you can make
Doesn't
money
matter
off
if
it.
it's good or bad, you're making money.
remember,
Bad
I
is
remember when
better,
like
which is
people
fucked.
from like other countries started moving here, and I'm not gonna put any stigma on
No.
anything, so I'm gonna like speak super fucking general here.
Yeah.
But like, there was a point, right? As like a young man living here, right? I was never fucking in fear of being blown up and shit when I walked down the street. I never felt that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
You know? If anything,
I never even knew that
if I
shit
ever
existed.
like seen anyone from another culture and they
Yeah.
like actually locked eyes on
Well,
me
that's the
and they was a male, they're like, "Hello, brother."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What up, bro?
But
How
that's-
are you, bro?"
that-
you know?
that-
But that's how we
that-
learn. But you fucking like me meeting you, me meeting Lowe's, me meeting anyone. I can learn from your culture. You can learn from
But
my
that
culture.
stigma of being like,
That's how
let's just say the blown up thing. How many times did you think about being blown up before the towers were blown up?
Never.
Did you see how they used that though?
Of course.
Do you know when that happened? My
I
first
remember
thought was like,
Because
"This is a setup."
Oh yeah,
Like,
I
this shit ain't
was like
real, what the
15.
fuck?
I was wagging school at my
Yeah.
brother's fucking share house,
Oh,
and he
it's-
woke me up and he goes, America's being bombed. And I go, what the fuck are you talking
Get out of my
about?
room. Yeah, because you don't think about that when you're a kid. Like,
Nah,
I was like
it's
16
all like
or
crazy,
17.
man.
it came over every channel in Australia. Boom.
and
But,
like, I
but
don't know,
fear,
man.
but with fear, you can have control.
Oh yeah.
So you scare the masses, you control.
Of course.
Yeah,
And then you
that's true, bro.
split,
That
divide,
is
and
definitely
conquer,
true,
bro.
You know.
Divide and conquer has been a tactic for 2,000 years. The
I
Roman
remember,
Empire used
do
it.
you guys remember there was this commercial in like Western Australia, and it was around about the time there was a bunch of like First Nations like people that were putting in claims through different parts of the land.
Yeah.
It's not the one, the white chick, the one that did the tourism one, not that one.
I don't know, but they were, like the gist of that commercial was
not
like,
the where the bloody hell
they're
are
coming, they're coming.
No.
They Laura Bingle.
If they're
Not
coming
that
after
whole.
the goldfields, next they'll want
Oh,
your
yeah.
backyards or some shit. And it's like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like, it is not really like, it's not about that, because like,
It's tradition.
I think people would trip out that like there's like it's documented within our culture and within our stories, man.
Yeah.
That there were fucking people coming here long before
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah.
there was like any of the colonization
Yeah,
stuff
of course.
happened. And
Yeah.
there was cultural exchange.
Well, the Dutch were here in the 1400s.
We had Egyptians come here, man. You
Yeah.
know, Egyptians came here, man, and I
Any
think people
motherfucker
would trip
that
out on
boat
like,
floated past came here.
why
It
the
could have
fuck
been.
the Egyptians came here, man. The Egyptians came here for spiritual enlightenment.
It's a fucking long
So,
way.
like that's super crazy, and I don't like. I think there's a reason why in schools and stuff, a lot of the history's not taught because motherfuckers might empower the people and we
'Cause
might
that's
do
the
something.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Yeah, no,
They don't
no,
like
no.
power to the people.
No.
Doesn't matter if it's white, black, or anything.
Yeah,
They don't
exactly,
like
you
fucking
know,
anyone gathering.
No.
And I'm pretty sure, right? Because like this will spin you out, right? So when I was in the bush, right? So you can still be initiated and things like that. So if you want to pursue that pathway, right? There's still avenues for you to go and do those things. It might not particularly be on your homelands or anything like that, but all our things are interconnected anyways.
Yeah.
So, if that was something that you wish to do,
You can still
you
do
can
it,
do
yeah.
it. And I'll tell you straight out, I met a Tayan dude who's a straight up initiated man,
You can do it, Luke.
and this cat drove a Ferrari,
That's all
bro.
I want.
What?
And he in there
Into the bush?
into the bush, bro.
That's how we do it.
But
Hey,
don't get it
some
twisted.
in a
Did the
frega.
Ferrari make it out?
Cassamena
He
frega.
brought that Ferrari back to Elizabeth Park and let my cousins drive it around the block and shit.
We shot a film clip on the bonnet.
Fuck yeah, and that shit had like red dust on the tires and stuff. But
Sick.
like it's not like anyone can do it. But
Nah,
like
of course.
obviously,
You gotta be accepted
this
too.
fella,
Yeah.
he went through the proper channels, like.
Yeah,
And when I say proper channels, he didn't like fill out a fucking
Nah.
application or anything. He
respectful.
obviously knows someone.
You need a homie.
He's probably married into the family or something like that.
And somewhere there's some respect.
Oh,
either
my,
side.
my best friend in the world, fucking Joshy Tamua Tactics, man. I love
Stop
you.
yelling in the fucking mic.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So like
He's the homie,
So
though.
like
Stop it.
There's like
Fucking making me cut it
fuck
out.
man, like our people we was exposed to different races for forever and ever.
Yeah, of
bro,
course.
And like to anyone this day, like man, I got nothing but love. And like let me clarify something, man, because like people talk we hear white this and that. Like for me personally, right? How I was raised and I was brought up in an activist family, and when we're talking anything white, it is not meant to be directed at individual people.
Yeah.
It's all about the fucking system.
Yeah, okay.
You know?
Yeah. Government.
Yeah. And I think like
That's who the
and I
enemy
think some young people and some older people we have fucking
They
got
take it as a slang shot.
we've got that shit confused, and
Some
we're
people
not
like to play the victim
teaching
too.
the real like the essence of like what this shit is really about. Because like my next door neighbor, bless her, the old soul, I love Mary. She's a lovely old lady. She is
Mary,
not my fucking
Mary.
enemy.
Yeah.
If anything, if I see her come out of the yard, we're struggling with her bin and shit,
You go
I
help
want to
her.
fucking help the lady.
Yeah.
I want to show love and shit. And when I first moved there, she made a point to come around to my house and fucking knock on the door and say, "Oh, love, if your children need anything, they to come knock
Yeah,
on
but
my door."
that's not a race person. That's a good person.
But that's what I'm saying.
What
I
he's,
think
yeah. He's saying it's taken as a blanket
Yeah.
shot.
yeah, and like, and I think like
People take
we
things
are
personal.
all. It should be like that, and
Look,
I think generally that's how it fucking really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Majority.
Because I can tell
Majority
you
of
right now,
people are good
I've
people.
met more good people than bad
Yeah,
people.
yeah, of course.
And I believe all these people with shitty attitudes,
problem-
they are a very fucking small
us
group
against-
of people
yeah.
who have big fucking voices.
That's
bro.
right.
That's all they
But
have.
you
man,
buy a punnet of raspberries and one mouldy one on the fucking bottom will just fuck the whole punnet in a
corrupt
day,
the whole
bro.
shit.
Yeah, bro.
That's
And
a
it's
good
metaphor, man.
it definitely makes it look bad for all of
Yeah.
us, And that can be for
Or on
a whole
either side.
bunch of scenarios, yeah, bro.
Yeah,
for anyone, man, left or right,
So before we go,
Can we do a piss break?
I need a piss so
Yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, we're back. Now, where we starting first here? You got bang your Dutch native flow here, right?
Hell yes.
We're about to kill it.
Hell yes. Yes, we want to drop some bars for you guys, man. You know, because
Proper old school fucking real mentality shit.
Like other brother, he dropped some. He's like live. He's with his acoustic and that. I thought that was like super dope. You know, and like being a hip hop artist, like I know it's a podcast and all, but like.
Nah,
what would
it's
it
a
be
hip hop
without
podcast.
like dropping some rhymes on
It's a fucking hip hop culture podcast.
Yeah, so like I've brought my brother Devis from the Dutch Down Natives and
Big
Fizzer and
motherfucker
Devis.
in the corner over here.
Yeah, man, he's gonna come and like kick me off the lounge here in a minute, I bet.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we come to like drop some shit, man, for you.
Bro, when we set this up, we got everything coming. There's gonna be a table here, a high table with fucking stools around it, and we're gonna go one after the other and have a proper session. So
we're gonna have a real cipher.
You boys come back.
I'm keen.
And we're gonna set up a few of them with some we've already got some good names that want to get into it.
Hell yeah.
And
Kevin Rainbow, we're gonna get out to fucking film it.
He's gonna take photos of it and shit.
He's a cool cat, man. I actually like these stories.
Bro, the craziest photos. I can't wait to get this new studio going because I'm gonna hit him up to just decorate it.
Hell yeah. That'll actually look pretty dope.
Yeah, bro.
But should I take this opportunity to give a couple of shout outs?
Shout the homies out.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Everyone that built
hell yeah.
your life.
I want to shout out Native.
I'll thank
the
you,
homie.
Brother. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you've always been fucking
Thank
fantastic
you,
to me.
I really appreciate
we
you
spent
guys.
some time.
I'm gonna shout out Davis for sitting over in the corner freezing his ass off.
My brother, yeah. But like, you know, I think it's important because like you know, it don't matter where you get in life or where you go, there's always a bunch of people involved with either pushing you in that direction, holding your hand, so to speak, or giving you the courage and shit to give it all a go, you know. So man, I know I'm gonna like I will definitely like miss a bunch of people, but like there was a gentleman named Kevin Dygan who I met back in the day, super influential to me. His son actually is Elle Macpherson's personal trainer. So what the fuck?
Oh wow!
Yeah, but this dude,
I bet he's seen some shit.
I'd like to share.
I'd like to be a fly on his chin.
I don't care if she's 94.
But in seriousness, brother Kev like passed away a number of years ago, and he was an old Irish man who fucking believed in me, like in everything I fucking touched, man. You know, and like I got nothing but gratitude, and I'm sure he's looking down and shit, and you know, and like saying good on you, brother, for never giving up and shit, and
it's hard,
you know, and he was someone like later on in life, you know, obviously I got my family and shit, but like Northern Sound System. You know, super dope people, bunch of people down there who have like really helped out like with my journey.
Shout out Jeff. Shout out Jeff, man.
Yeah,
Jeff fucking hooked up some shows.
Oh hell yeah!
He's been great.
And everything I've heard from Northern Sound System, they got crazy sound.
Oh hell yeah!
The sound's fantastic. The stage
if that place
crazy.
was in the city, that would be the prime joint for hip hoppers to you know to
Big
fucking showcase their shit out.
But don't let it stop you from going out there.
Nah.
But like all my brothers, you know, from like Sons of Serpent, you know, like Jack and brother Yowie,
the big Yowie.
You know, man,
the homies.
We've done some really good shit together, you know, and I'm fucking super grateful for your fellas' brotherhood and.
Shout out Yowie's missus too.
Yeah,
sister girl. Fucking the pipes on that lady.
You know,
she can sing her ass
super
off.
dope people and
no,
got nothing but love.
You fucking her name up?
Possibly.
Jira, sister girl Jira.
I think it's someone else.
You're gonna get slapped, boy.
Hell yeah. Man,
it's all
hell
love.
Yeah!
It's all love.
Shout out to the whole entire FY crew. You know, whoa, word up, man.
Let's go.
Yeah, how you put your name up? I put it up with a Q.
That's the one.
That's the brother.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Just shout out to all the local hip hoppers, all the young guys. Like, just a couple names off the top of the head, man. You know, like young brother Aware and his brother Just.
Dope.
They
Aware can rap his fucking ass.
You know, just to support the younger indigenous followers coming through, man.
Fuck yeah.
You got mad love from your peoples always.
Absolutely.
Even though we might not like chat and stuff and interact with each other all that much, but
there's a lot of motherfuckers.
you know.
A-Ware's got some
But
bars.
like a lot of love to like any young person who like, you know, has the fucking courage to jump up and like address your peers.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say, you know, and like maybe this is the older person coming out of me, but I will say that like please, my young brothers and sisters, if you're gonna be a hip hopper and you're addressing your young people, please understand the powerful position you are in. You are addressing your fucking peers.
Real
And
shit.
really what that means is you may have some people out there who fucking take you literally, you know? And
You might have more influence than you realize.
yeah, and we don't like. Let's be real, you know.
Yeah.
We don't want to be sending people astray and shit. Like that's not what fucking hip hop is about. Hip hop ain't about fucking your little cool ass ankle bracelet, you know, because you got caught by the cops. You just a shitty ass crim, if you ask me.
Yeah, you
You
got
know?
fucking.
But like,
didn't run hard
it's,
enough.
it's not about all that. It's not about
Going
man.
up fences.
Like, we can be honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's certain degree. There's drugs and shit in the hip hop.
But that's not what it's
Like,
all
but
built on.
that's not the foundation of it, man. You know,
No.
and like, let's not get it twisted. I'm not like saying that don't like be who you want to be, but I'm just saying be super fucking mindful of the message you put across because, you know, I can be honest with you guys and say that when I'm like a fucking 80-year-old cat and I look back out my music, I want to be fucking proud of what I see.
You will
You
be.
know,
Yeah.
and I want to be
Shit's
proud
done.
of the message that I put across. And but yeah, look, that's all I can say, man. And we want to end our fucking
That's killer, bro.
session with like spitting some rhymes for you guys, man.
Well said. I just want to thank you for coming on,
Thank
bro.
you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's always
Thank you, man.
appreciated.
I really appreciate it.
Episode
man.
4.
Thank you.
Episode 4,
Episode
Native
4,
MC.
Native MC.
We're gonna cut for 1 second. We're gonna get the homie on, and we're gonna
Dust out natives.
get
Dust
some
out.
fucking
In your
bars going.
motherfucking ear.
Check. Yo. Yeah. You know the steez. Yeah, plot and kill the enemy. Meditate, then gather, then share that chakra energy. We orbit the land, cuz with pinpoint accuracy. Find and seek, but never listen when they teach. No chemistry, yeah, the soul be crew deep. For real, cuz ain't nothing gonna change, fuck please. Check the countdown in full effect on the streets. When we gonna bring war, that's how we gonna see peace. I'm at the illest brain floating in twin flames. Enter your train of thought, then fillet your brain. The prophecy's been told, the deck of the burst the stage. The holes the inner and the cells be the brain. Just kick that soul food for you like a seasoned steak. Bring the recipes cause it manifests destiny. Technically, I am the remedy. All kind of peaceful, flirting through the melody.
The mic steady, well balanced like a Libra. I give you 45 seconds of my mind freely delivered. Hazelite, bold-headed white boy spitting lyrics. Amsterdam born Dutch funk flipping the script. I'm hitting the piss. Sobriety's giving me the shit. Forced to fit into a society that I'm living amidst. Earn more digits to provide a better future for my kids. I got it written down, number one on my to-do list. I hit and miss. Dangerous odds are at stake and repercussions follow every mistake that I make. You pay the price every time you roll the dice. Get crowned the king or end up with your nuts in a vice. Hey yo, throw me in a rap battle and watch motherfuckers backpedal quicker than the double kicks in death metal. I'm way slicker than a funkadelic bassline. Haters are advised to blow me below the waistline.
Sitting in science class and we still kick math. Each teach one and then we start to subtract.
I'm in effect whenever I select written text to direct extract sent from my intellect.
On North Face style, but I don't care about that. My real heart lies, brother, when my people attack.
I interject when people show me no respect. I shock them like anaphylaxis and blow them off the map.
Deflect that static shit, cause them brothers in the back talk that trash shit, cause they rhymes is whack. Never come back, brother, cause them fallers can't adapt. Nah, bruv, yeah, these fallers kinda daft.
Hey yo, I'm flowing like a tap, there's no holding me back. I threw the handle in the trash and reached the overflow max. Just need to vent, get this shit off of my chest. I can't spend another minute without breaking a sweat. I take a deep breath, spit raps, no time to relax and run laps around these rejects like it's recess. Blow your mind to pieces if you study my thesis. Your skepticism ceases as your joy increases.
Boom.